Hello everyone, Joshua Jones here with JLHF ready and back at it again with Commander Limited this time. So this series is all about bringing you a limited field to Commander, and also because we're doing them on a limited basis. So these are all the different types of Commander Limited topics you'll be seeing, whether it's the Guild Restricted series we did, Block Constructed, messing around with mechanics, Commons Commander where we play Pauper and Commander, Dollar Decks where all the cards have to be $1, are the Time Walk series. And today it's going to be the Time Walk series. We're going to go all the way back and take a look at the commanders of, that's right, Legends, the set that made our addiction possible, set place on Dominaria. Legends was just this kind of crazy set back in the day where, you know, they decided to make Legends for the first time. And I got to tell you, everything else that you want to know about Legends, you can find on Gamepedia.com. It's a bunch of cool stuff over there. Before I even started making this deck tech, when I went back to look at commanders for this deck, I went ahead and read all up about it, and that's what I want to encourage you to do. Is every time we do one of these Commander Limiteds and we take a look at the Time Walk series, to go out and look up that particular set that we're taking the Commander from and learn about the game history that we come to love. So I'll leave this .com in the description below, and you can hopefully go there and check it out. So I tell you one thing about Legends, it brought 55 commander choices to the table. So they had just, hey, let's do legendary creatures. And what did they do? They came out and said, yeah, we might as well drop 55 of these multicolored legendary commanders for people to, well, at the time they weren't legendary commanders, but these legendary creatures, and tell the story of these crazy, just god-like creatures. Not really like gods, just like legendary peoples for the first time. And then, somewhere along the line, we got a EDH rec to help us out and grow our addiction with the commander in general. So you see, all like, we're just going through all the 55 different ones, so many of them. Here we got 5 just old style borders, do small things like just a 5/4 that taps for blue. And then of course this set also included the Elder Dragons. So all of them here. You see Nicol Bolas center page, just a 7/7 massive beast to make you discard. And then recently, even we got a reprint of this cycle of Elder Dragons. So, anyways, we're gonna go with one of the 55 for our deck tech. We're gonna take the value bust to Bant victory with Rubinia Soulsinger, a little gaining control of situations here. So it is Bant 2 green, white, blue for a fairy legendary creature. And if you want, you can choose not to untap this creature on your untap step. You can, but you can choose not to. And the reason why you would want to not do that is it has an activated ability of tap, gain control of target creature for as long as Rubinia remains tapped. And obviously you're going to have control of Rubinia for it to remain tapped. So there you go. 2/3. So what are we doing in this deck? We're going to run a pillow package. We're running these enchantment artifacts that just basically say you can't have creatures attack you unless there's some additional cost. Mainly all of them are 2. Some of them are Phyrexian mana. Some of them are 1. Some of them depend on the amount of enchantments you have, but a little pillow fort package. And then we're also going to run in some stuff to slow them down. So when the case of Sandworm Convergence, just applies to flying creatures, but you get 5/5s. The Blazing Archon to just say they can't attack, period. Angelic Arbiter just to make it so where if your opponents cast spells, they can't attack with creatures. And if they attack with creatures, they can't cast spells. And then the Heretic Cathar just to make them come in tapped already. After that, we're going to go in with the Master Wave. So we're running 2 Kioras in this deck just for some sweet Planeswalker value. We're in the Bant colors, and these 2 Planeswalkers, if you're able to pillow fort it off long enough and get these ultimates off, you got a pretty good shot at winning the game. Next up, we actually have the cards that say you win the game on them. Mechanized production, you're going to need 8 or more artifacts after you enchant an artifact you control. Felidar Sovereign, if you have 40 life and you can manage to make it to your upkeep with this out, you're going to win. Approach, cast it twice on the second one. If it's not countered, you're going to win the game. Laboratory Maniac, oh, did you draw out your whole deck? No big deal. Then we move on to just some useful utilities. So we have Mirage Mirror, just to copy anything that's out there that's good. You can copy an artifact, enchantment, a creature, a land. It doesn't have to be yours, and it's just until end turn for 2 mana. Just great utility. Triumph of the Hordes. We're not combat focused, but sometimes you can go to combat and swing in with +1/+1 trample and infect and just get the game done, needing only 10 infect to wrap it up. Paragon Drake, because it's just you can get infinite mana off this bad boy. And then Ashnod's Altar. Ashnod's Altar, I like this in this deck because you could tap to gain the control of the creature with the ability of your commander, and then sacrifice that to get 2 colorless. They'll never get it back, and then on your upkeep, go ahead and untap it, because at that point, you don't have to worry about keeping it tapped down. Speaking of tapping down and taking things, we're going to set up the next part of this deck with Attack and Trap. So, Will Breaker here, it allows you to, whenever you target a creature that is your opponent's, like with our commander's ability, you're going to gain control of it. Then this is the one that gains control of it, the Will Breaker, so you can untap your commander and do it again. You're going to want to put Swiftfoot Boots or Lightning Greaves or some sort of Shroud on Will Breaker as soon as you can. Then Conjurer's Closet here, this is basically the same thing. Whenever you gain control of it at your end step, you're going to exile the target creature you control and return it under your control. So a great way to utilize the commander's ability. Then you're going to use Helm of the Host to copy any one of these or your commander. All of these are just double ups on our actual commander's ability, where you're gaining control of the creatures that your opponents control. Then we're going to do some trapping. So what I mean by that is after we get them the effects where we blink them and they come back under our control. We have 2 instant speed ways of doing that, and then we have Resto Angel, which is also an instant speedway, but on a creature body instead of just a regular old instant thing. Cool little tech here. You can use Ghostly Flicker on one of the things that you stole, and then use Ghostly Flicker on Restoration Angel to steal another thing. Deadeye Navigator, it is dumb. You could use it with your commander's ability and also with Paragon Drake earlier, but we'll get to that in an upcoming portion of the deck. I didn't want to go too into deep on the usual package of removal and ramp and card draw, but basically we are running the target sweep package. So 5 target removal spells, 5 sweepers, and we're running card flow. So we got 10 card draw spells that are specifically in the deck to keep our hands full of cards and mana sources. So in the case here, you see we can double up on our mana and give a little boost to our creatures, as well as draw cards when we cast them, and we're running 10 total additional mana sources in the deck. Finally, we go to the land base. We're running 12 non-basics and then 8 of each of these basic lands, keeping it simple. So the challenge achievement trophy for this deck tech today, as we take a time walk back to Legends where it all started, is to use your Deadeye Navigator and your Paragon Drake to make infinite mana. Then go ahead and pull from tomorrow your whole deck with Lab Maniac on the field to win the game instantly. That's going to wrap it up for Rubinia. I hope I'm saying that right. Soulsinger, our value bust to Bant victory. And that was a walk in time. A little trip back to Legends for Commander Limited this week. This deck's going to run you $150. Check it out, as usual, on mtggoldfish.com, 1162985. Hey, what are we doing next? Well, I tell you, the next time on Commander Limited, that's going to be in a month from now, we're going to take our first look at Commons Commander. So that's where you choose any uncommon, or if you want, common creature, but you are allowed to use an uncommon creature or a common creature. You choose any one in Magic's history, and then your 99 has to contain only basics. So the lands and all of the non-land cards in your deck are commons only. Everybody's loving Pauper. We are too. I would recommend that when we get to the Commander Limited series on Commons Commander, and we'll talk about it more then, that you play these decks against other, obviously, Pauper Commander decks. These are also great for one-on-one matches, as normal Commander really isn't. But anyways, like I said, more on that next month on Commander Limited. Hey, I'm Joshua Jones with GLHF MTG. Guess what? I'm out.